Lesson 4. If it's natural, it's good. Let's meet the 13th century monk Thomas Aquinas, whose influence on Christian theology, philosophy, and ethics has been huge. One of Aquinas' most important contributions was to Christianize some of the ideas of Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher and tutor of Alexander the Great. Aquinas wondered how it was that non-Christians, who did not have access to the Bible or the Church, could still have a moral sense, and if they did, where would such a moral sense come from? In answering his own question, Aquinas found Aristotle's idea of telos or purpose useful. Every object has a telos. The knife has the telos of cutting, the acorn has the telos of growing into an oak. For Aristotle, something is good if it fulfills its telos. A good knife cuts, a good acorn grows into a tree. The same is true for humans, and because Aquinas believed God made us, then any telos we have must be good. Aquinas thought that by using reason we can see why we were made. Certain natural purposes, what he calls primary precepts, are revealed when we consider our God-given human nature. These include the preservation of human life. We all have a natural instinct to survive. Reproduction. We have a sex drive that leads us to have children. Education. Once we have children, we naturally want to nurture them. Knowing God. Humans have an inclination towards God and the spiritual life. Living in a society. We are naturally social creatures. These precepts are primary because they are true for everyone all the time, Christian or not. This represents a natural law. From these primary precepts, Aquinas says we can derive secondary precepts, the human laws that support the primary precepts. So, because the preservation of our lives is a natural inbuilt law, then we should not kill ourselves or others. Going through the rest of the primary precepts, we might derive such secondary precepts as marry and have children, make sure your children get a good education, go to church, and support the institutions that help the proper functioning of society. Some of this becomes controversial. For example, if reproduction is the telos of sex, then is the use of contraception sinful? Well, the Catholic Church says it is. And are there ever any exceptions to any of the laws? Might it ever be right to kill in some circumstances? To help solve the problem of what looks like the occasional demand to break the natural law, Aquinas introduces the doctrine of double effect. It states that if an act fulfills 4 conditions, then it may be morally acceptable. Number 1, rather obviously the act must be a good one. Number 2, the act itself must come about before any consequences, or the double effect. Number 3, the intention must be good. Number 4, the act must be done for serious reasons. For example, imagine that a woman is pregnant, but that the pregnancy is ectopic, the fetus is growing in the fallopian tube. If nothing is done, both the mother and the fetus will almost certainly die. The doctors have 2 choices: do nothing, then both mother and fetus die, or remove the fallopian tube. The fetus dies, but the mother survives. Double effect would allow for the removal of the fallopian tube because the action and intention are good, the act of removing the fallopian tube comes before the death of the fetus, and the reasons are obviously serious. This is about a matter of life and death. The theory of natural moral law has much to commend it. It offers relatively clear and objective moral guidance. It is intuitive to say that natural inclinations such as the preservation of life are good. For some, it also solves the grounding problem, as it makes the source of ethics God and the natural order he created. However, the theory also has problems. If we do not believe that God exists, then its moral foundation might seem to collapse. Although some could argue that whether God gave us our nature or not, we do have what seems to be a relatively common human nature, and it would therefore not be ridiculous to start our ethics there. Perhaps more troubling is what David Hume called the is-ought gap. Can we derive moral oughts from natural facts? For example, it is the case that human canine teeth, our incisors, have the natural purpose of tearing raw meat. That is the is. But it is a logical leap, and an untenable one according to Hume, to say that we therefore ought to eat meat. Oughts belong to one class of thing, human judgments, while natural facts belong to another. To be fair to natural law, this is a problem many ethical theories run into, which we will discover in our next lesson on utilitarianism.